What I want to talk about now is validating form data, and I'm really just going to touch on this topic. This is a rather broad topic, and the types of form validations available for your language, your server-side language, and also the different areas where you can validate do vary quite a bit. So it's a topic that demands far more attention than this one movie. But what I want to do is correct something in our Contact Us form. Right now, our Contact Us form allows the user to submit data with absolutely nothing in the form. And you certainly don't want to allow that. So what I want to do is add some form validation. And what that means is the user must put a name and email address within this form. Now, we're not going to get too intense in that particular process. What we're going to do is use a Dreamweaver feature to do this, and it's known as Dreamweaver Behaviors. And this is about as far as form validation can go using the Dreamweaver interface. But since we're working in all the Dreamweaver features, I thought I should show you this one, and it would certainly help correct this issue, at least in the interim. So let's go out and validate the name and email field on our Contact Us form. And where we go to do that is we go up to Window and go down to Behaviors. Now this is a different panel from the server behaviors we've looked at elsewhere through this course. This is just behaviors. And these behaviors are JavaScript. So I'm going to close up my server behaviors panel, and I'll open this up just a little bit bigger so you can see it a little better. Now what a behavior is JavaScript, but we'll let Dreamweaver write the JavaScript for us. So down in our Contact Us form, the way I'm going to add this is the first thing I need to do is select something in the interface. These behaviors get attached to something, and what I want to do is when the user clicks this button, I want the form validation to test and make sure they entered something in the name and email fields. So I'll select the button, go up to the Behaviors panel, hit the plus sign, and what we're going to do is validate form. Now what gets put in here are strictly the text fields within your form. That's about as far as Dreamweaver can take you in terms of form validation. So our name, our email, and this open text area for the comments. Well, we don't need to make those required, but we are going to require a name. So in order to do that, I check the Required button. And the R here means I've made it a required field. The email portion, I'm going to make required, but I'm also going to make sure it's an email address. Now this validation only takes you so far. There's no way to guarantee that it's a correct email address, but at least we'll make sure that it has the characters for a correct email address. So it's required. Notice the R on both of them. It also says is email, meaning this form field needs to be an email. Now once I've clicked that button, you can see there is an on-click event. This is what the user has to do. And when that occurs, this is going to run the validate form. So let's go out in the browser. You do need to be in the browser to see this. JavaScript occurs in the browser. And we'll go out to our form, and I'll click Contact Us. And notice what we get. Following errors occurred, name is required, and email. So I'll plug in a name. I'll test it again. And it still says email is required. So I'll plug in my email address, click Contact Us, and you can see the form data was submitted. Now I didn't fill out everything, which is why we don't have some values here. I didn't worry about that. But at least we know that the name and address will be filled out. So that's about as far as you can get in working with the Dreamweaver interface with form validation. Anything beyond the scope of what we just completed, you need to do and create and add on your own by hand coding or bringing in some scripts you've used previously to work with form validation. But that is form validation, and these are the two important pieces on this form anyway, So we can now make sure that if the user doesn't enter anything, they will get pop-up messages reminding them to enter their information. So that is validating text fields using Dreamweaver behaviors.